Hello everybody, in today's video I'm going to be doing a solve on a 3x4x6 fully functional shapeshifting cuboid. And believe it or not, as intimidating as this cube might look to you, if you can solve a 3x3x2 cuboid, then you already know the algorithms to solve this one. It just depends on how you apply them. And that's what I mean by cuboid algorithms are very universal. Once you know them, you can pretty much solve anything. What I want to talk about today are my jobs that I've had in the past. I also want to talk about what I'm doing now and then what I want to do in the future. Now, I've had a lot of jobs in the past and I've got a stable one now, and I want to talk about the future more than the past. So I'm going to quickly run through the past and then we'll go on to now and then the future. The first one I started off with was a paper route. I didn't really like it. I was a little kid and I didn't really like the responsibility of having a job, and that really showed in my work ethic back then. Then when I was 15 years old, I started working at a guitar store as a teacher, teaching guitar. And I guess the store owner thought I had some talent and wanted to give me a shot. So I worked there for about a year. It was a pretty good paying job. $25 an hour is pretty good payment for, a 15-year-old kid, but I didn't have a lot of hours, so it didn't actually work out to very much money. But I lost patience with people and the job itself, so I didn't really stick around there for longer than a year. Then when I finished school, I worked at a place. I'm not going to tell you guys the names of where I worked, just for privacy reasons, but I worked at a warehouse and I did shipping and receiving, and I worked there for a few years and I got along with people for the most part. It was my real work experience. It was the first place I really stayed at for a significant amount of time and really learned work ethic and, expectations of employers and employee relationships and things like that, and things you should and shouldn't do at work and all that kind of nice stuff that you go through in your life experience. And I quit that job for a better paying job in a rebar yard. We call it a steel yard. And for all those buildings you see, there's rebar in the concrete to make it stable. And somebody has to cut that and bend it up and all that kind of stuff. So I did that, but I was a crane operator there. And that was a pretty tough job. It's very hard on the feet, walking around piles of steel all the time. And then when I was done with that job, I had it in my mind that I wanted to move. So I moved to Alberta, where I did a various amount of jobs. I couldn't really keep a stable job because, I don't know, I just wasn't in, I don't know, I think I was running away from something at the time, and I needed a different life or something. I'm not sure, but anyways, I moved there. I worked at a sheet metal place. I worked at a bingo factory where they sell bingo stuff and supplies to bingo halls. And but I had a good experience there. I played with this band for a while, and we cut a track for the WWE, and it got assigned to some wrestler. I'm not sure which one it was, but that was a pretty cool experience for me. And then when I moved back because I was homesick, I worked for the place I work now, which is painting tennis courts. And I worked there for quite a few years, like 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years or something. And then I wanted to move on to something different. So I actually became a worker at a group home for, well, I guess it would be mostly teens, but there was some people that were a little bit younger, but it was for high-risk youth with developmental disabilities. And I learned a whole lot about myself and other people, patience, tolerance, all sorts of stuff. And I ended up becoming the manager there. And I had employees, and I was a boss, and I did payroll and all that kind of stuff. And that really set work ethic into me, so, but I kind of, I don't know, I tried to help people, but after 2-3 years of not seeing significant change in someone, it's just, why am I here? So I felt it was my time to move on. So I actually went back to what I was doing, painting tennis courts, and that's what I do now. And I'm a foreman, so I'm sort of a boss, but I'm not. Like, I have a boss, but I also have people working under me. And it's a really nice job. I don't mind it. The problem is, though, is that you only work for 7 months out of the year, but then you get 5 months off, and you still receive money. So it's not too bad. And in a couple of weeks, I'll be ending my season, which means I'll have about 5 months off. But I don't really want the time off, which leads me to where I'm going to be going. What I want to do is I want to work for CN Rail, and that's the railway for Canada. And it starts at a very competitive wage. It's very high paying. It would be the highest paying job I've ever had. And currently, I have a pretty good paying job. So I just think it would be a very good career move. It's a career and not a job at this place. So I'm really going to try and put in the effort to get there. And that's why I bought a new car and everything. Anyways, the video's over here. So that's the jobs I've done. And I encourage you to try to be as successful as you can in not just jobs, but all sorts of places in your life. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.